And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the Legacy Leadership Show with just me today. Adrian isn't here. He is locked into a meeting he couldn't get out of. So I am the luckiest man in the world. We've got a great show for you today. Since he's not here, I can just be as random as I want. I have been in love with Michelle Barnes for so many years. It's unbelievable. And after I got a divorce from Adrian's mom, obviously I was out there in the world trying to find a woman I could marry. And I barked up the tree called Michelle Barnes without her knowing it. Not obviously, but just like, like I do stuff, trying to show her how philanthropic I was and how nice I was and all this horse manure. And she never, to her credit, took the bait. We never even went on a date, but I have loved her since the New Vision days. BK had her ride a horse at an event like, who was that woman? Lady Godiva. And I'll tell you, I was smitten. I found out she lived very close to me in Colorado, and the game was on and I lost and everybody else won. And it's just terrible, but we have her on the show today. We've become good friends. My wife's a good friend of her. And they actually went to Africa to do some microloans together. So we are on cloud nine, and I just see Cam Core is on here, who is the object of all of our prayers. One of the, I'm telling you what.
The best.
What about a positive attitude?
Yeah.
This guy has got the flu in a bad way. And I am telling you, I wake up to a motivational speech out of this guy every day. And I'm telling you what, it goes from me feeling sorry for myself to just thankful that I know Cameron and his beautiful wife. So it's a good day. Tell me what's going on with you.
It is a good day. Well, first of all, I think you actually scored with that whole situation 30 years ago, because you seriously have the best wife on the entire face of the planet.
She's the best, isn't she?
I mean, like, it doesn't get better than Denise, So best travel partner. Oh my God, we had a blast traveling 30 hours to Tanzania and Africa and working in the villages for 13 days. And I could not have asked for a better travel mate. So, Tom, where do we even start? I mean, first of all, you're going to get yourself in trouble without Adrian. I already know that.
It's a nightmare. We're already, the FTC. Yeah, it's unbelievable. There's a million regulators that are going to be after me for doing bad stuff, but that's the way it goes. Here's the deal. I know your life really, really well. I have been around so much stuff behind the curtain on your life and watched you 4 years just take a licking and keep on ticking. And I think I want to start there because you had it going pretty well. You were going to be an attorney, and you had a plan. And like all of our plans, they never go the way they're supposed to, but they always end up going the best. And it's so crazy catching God taking care of things when we probably would have screwed it up. And with my life, it's just amazing how my life has turned out considering how it could have turned out. And you're much the same way, but you were a whole lot more a victim than me back then. And even through the years that you've been in network marketing, building huge organizations only to have them ripped away and starting over. And you never blinked. You just stayed with it. And I love you.
I love you. I love you so much. And I, first of all, want to thank you for so many things. I mean, you've been there for me through thick and thin over the decades, whether it was businesses, companies closing the doors, going out of business, pulling the rug out from underneath us, or personal stuff and family stuff that I've dealt with. And, you've always just been such a good friend. And I appreciate you so much.
I'll tell you, can we talk about the one I'm the most proud of?
Sure.
Goggins. So we walk into Goggins, and she's got her little kids there and there. How old are they now?
15 and 18.
So they were whippersnappers 3-4 years ago.
15-year-old, the current 15-year-old, I think he was probably, was that 5-6 years ago? 5 years ago? So he was probably like 10 or 11.
He walked up to me at Goggins and he goes, "Mr. Chenault, nice to meet you." He sticks his hand out and I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "I'm here to meet David Goggins."
Yeah.
And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yes, I'm with my mother." and she bought us tickets in the front row, and I am going to meet David Goggins. I have manifested it, and I just know it's going to come true. And I was with Darren Prince, who's Goggins' agent, and I had this super VIP ticket that I didn't deserve, and a bunch of my flaky friends didn't show up, so I had extra super VIP tickets that they didn't deserve, and so we slapped one on her little boy,
Oh,
and the rest is history. Goggins shook hands with like 5 people afterward
that was
before it
it.
peeled out of there, and her little boy was one of them, and
Yeah.
his eyes were like marbles, and he's positive manifestation works now, right?
Oh my gosh. He was damn determined, boy. Like the entire way to the Aspire event, he was like, I'm going to meet David Goggins today. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, honey, you're very convincing. I said, but like we have gold tickets. They're really not like backstage or kind of VIP. Yeah, I'm like, we're up in the front, but I'm like, it may happen, it may not. I don't want you to be disappointed. And when he got to like see you and Denise, and when you were like, what do you want to get out of today? And he's like, I want to meet David Goggins.
But that's what
You're
this
like,
business,
well, funny you should say that.
it's our life,
Yeah.
though, what we get to do. And people, and I'll never forget, do you know who Michael Burnoff is?
Yeah, of
So
course.
Burnoff, I do his NLP course, and he
Yeah.
stops
That's
me in the
me.
middle of it, and he goes, Tom, I go, what? He goes, when are you going to stop fighting? And I go, what are you talking about? He says, you pick up everybody's cause, and everybody's always mad at you, but you get to be the hero. It's got to be exhausting. He said, why don't you give that up and just spread pixie dust? Why don't you become, instead of this bravado guy, false bravado guy, probably, why don't you just become Merlin the magician? And I believed him. And I have committed my life to just really, truly, instead of getting in all those frays,
Yeah.
just to be Merlin the magician. And it's only worked one time in my life, and it was on your son. And I'm very happy about that.
Well, I will tell you, he still talks about it to this day. He was the only person out of the 2,500, 3,000 people in that room that actually got a one-on-one photo with him. Like
Yeah.
we took a group photo, which was super cool, but he was the only one in that whole room that got a one-on-one photo with the guy that day. So, and I've been telling him his whole life, I'm like, thoughts are things, or, if they're negative, I'm like, well, keep telling yourself that. And they're just like, oh God, mom, you
Yeah.
know, but that was a good example of like thoughts are things. If you think it's going to happen, it will.
And it's the perfect backdrop for this show today, everybody, because the minute you lose when you stop fighting, and we got Cameron on here who's absolutely exemplifies that at a level you wouldn't believe. All of us have got situations like that.
Yeah.
You've been through it. Just take all the, because you're beautiful, you're rich, you got it going, you're everywhere. And it's easy to see you. It's easy in our minds to believe it's all been easy, but it has been far from that. But I've never, ever, ever seen you give up. I've just seen you get going.
No, that's probably the best thing I have going for me is that I'm really scrappy. I'm very resilient. I also believe, I also have faith, you know what I mean? And even through all the companies getting shut down, going out of business, I mean, I'm building for my sixth time, to the top again, 6 times in 30 years. I'm like, so, but everything happens for a reason and a purpose. And I would say you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. I love what Steve Jobs says. You can always connect the dots looking back, but never forward. And every single thing that's happened really has led me to something better, to something bigger and greater and more aligned with who I am and where I want to go and where I'm at in my life now, because I'm a different person today, 30 years later, than I was when I started at 23 years old, and I think a lot of times we, like you said, we see people who are successful in our profession, but a lot of times they don't see where we started and they don't see the numbnut that, I'd never even had a real job besides waiting tables and bartending when I was introduced to this profession 30 years ago. I was $80,000 in debt. I had three pathetic jobs. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I literally had no business being in business. And so for me, it's like, gosh, like we need to find more people that just get it and have that vision of like, oh my gosh, maybe this is what can create financial freedom and time freedom for me and my family. Because that's what I believed 30 years ago, you know?
But you went through it. And even though you've been through all these crazy times, you've had great times,
Yeah.
but you've been able to keep your enemies right in front of you, which is your two boys. And they got to see you. Adrian's off to doing something right now where his kids, he comes back with a box of money and says, I'm done working. But every day in your life, it was take your children to work day. They saw you live, they saw you die or almost die, and they saw that everything that their mom is about staying with it and never letting them see a sweat. And don't you think, and obviously there's a million circumstances in their life that they needed that message
Yeah.
for the rest of their life anyway, and you gave it to them inadvertently, don't you think?
Yeah. I do believe that. And, I believe it more. I was actually writing a chapter for a collaboration book, the glow stick book that Tina Torres does. And I was finishing up my chapter in that book. And that was actually like really writing that chapter over the last few days. I was like, wow. So when my previous company got shut down, I think my boys were maybe 4 and 7. So they were too young to know like what was happening or what was going on. And, they had no idea. So, I just had to do what I had to do. And, we took our team to another company. So then I was with that previous company for 10 years. But when that company got shut down a little over a year ago, my boys were old enough to know what was going on. And I think, they were scared, I mean, like they never really knew a lot of the stuff that I'd gone through in previous companies because either they weren't alive yet or they were too little. But this previous one a year ago, like they were, you know, they were, 17 and 14. And they were like, Mom, like, are we going to be okay? Because I mean, to go 5 months without an income and starting a brand new company from scratch and, all the things, they were like, are we going to be okay? And I mean, I was like, of course we're going to be okay. I mean, like for me, it was like, that was never even a question in my mind. Like, we're going to be okay. Like, I don't really know what's going to happen, but we're going to be okay. And I think, they say that kids model their parents, one or both of their parents. They say that like besides like the statistics, like 11% will 89% are going to be exactly like one or both of their parents because of what they're modeling and what they're seeing.
Yeah, good.
And so there's maybe 10-11% that go, oh my gosh, I am never going to be like that. I'm not going to do what my parents did. I'm going to be completely different. And so I've always had that in the back of my mind, like, what am I modeling for these boys? And I want them to see that, hard things happen, shit happens. Sometimes things are tough and you're going to go through some really freaking hard times personally and with business, and no matter what you do, there's ups and downs. And how are you going to get through those? And who are you going to become like through that process? And my boys have been through a lot, with their father and his addiction and stuff like that. And we've been through a lot, and then just business wise. But I wanted them to see, not just hear me say that you're always going to be okay. And it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you that's going to determine the outcome. So you get to decide, you get to choose. And it's not that it's going to be easy, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But if you can instill into their brain that these tough times are setting you up for something so fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you just get out of trying to control life and trust God and
Yeah.
understand you might be at the end of that rope, but just let go of it and let God open up this new door, which is what happened to you. I
Yeah.
want to talk about you again because you've got these two kids that are impressionable. And obviously, Modair completely shot everybody in the head
Mhm.
and surprised everybody. I'm calling a lot of you
Yeah.
people telling you it happened, and you're going, you're crazy. That could
Yeah.
not have happened.
Yeah.
And the only time that ever happened to me before, I will tell you this because it kind of involves you,
Mhm.
was many years ago. Steve Wallach, I called him on the phone and I said, Steve, they just raided the offices of VEMA. And Steve said, who? And he said, the FTC. And he said, that's impossible.
Yeah, that was
Could not.
good
And
times too.
same thing happened to you there.
Yeah.
But what I love about what just happened to you was there are so many people who sold their soul to take a deal or a BDC or something someplace else, a
Yeah.
company that was established out there.
Yeah.
And I've got no story about that. Maybe I do. But at the end of the day, you looked your little boys in the eye and you said, you know what? I could go take one of those deals
Mhm.
and I could sell myself out to the deal and we could be okay. But instead, I got together with a bunch of people I love and we determined that we were never going to let this happen again,
No.
no matter what, not to us and not to you kids.
Yeah.
So I am going to be without a paycheck for a few months where I could have had a paycheck tomorrow if I wanted to take it.
Yeah.
But we united and we have built a company that we believe is for the people instead of for the hedge fund.
Yeah.
And I love that about you. And you did it.
Yeah. I don't think there was any other option. And yeah, sure, getting money thrown at you and like, bring your team here, we'll pay you 100,000 a month. We'll do this, we'll do that. Wanting to wine us and dine us and all the things. There were times in the past year where I was like, oh, maybe I should have done that. No,
Yeah.
but you know what? Like you said, I mean, after 30 years, like we know what we're doing. We're good people. Between the 8 of us that decided to do this, we are so good at different things, and we each have such unique, different gifts that we bring to the table. So there hasn't been any like this because it's just like we're kind of all just staying in our own lane and doing what we're good at. But also, like, I've known these people for 25, 30 years. And, we've built some pretty massive empires together. And so we just thought, you know what? We have great relationships with really everyone in this profession. Um, we had over 300 years of combined experience, over 12 billion in sales between us. We've all been blessed to make millions of dollars in the profession. And, and we all have a story of where we started, which was, none of us, we all started when we were like in our early 20s. And, when we really, like I said, had no business being in business. So we've been in the trenches, and we've been in the trenches this whole time, and we're still in the trenches, and you can tell the difference when somebody's in the trenches and in the field. And when you can build a company for the field, by the field, and you've got field mentality and you know what's happening in this space, it's just different energy. It just is.
And starting a network marketing company is hard in today's age. I mean, it is like building a sandcastle at low tide. I mean, you just get wiped out all the time with something else coming at you that you never expected. And I promise you, and I know nothing. I know Tim, I know Brian, I know all the guys. And so I've had conversations with them about how hard it is, but how worth it is. And I talk to you, how hard it is and
Yeah.
how worth it is. But that's, again, a life lesson for all of us. Damn right it's hard, but the juice is worth the squeeze. You
Yeah.
didn't quit. You've learned so much about management that you didn't want to, but to be able to look people straight in the eye like you guys are doing, that are all walking up with that stupid story about wanting a deal.
Yeah.
And you look them in the eye and go, not only did I not get a deal, I started it below zero.
Yeah.
There was nothing here when I was working, and we had to create it to even get that first check.
Yeah.
We're giving you an opportunity to sign an app and be in business today,
Yeah.
and it's on you to go to work. And
Yeah.
I love that about that model that you're building, because I think, which is where I'm trying to go with this show, is it is what network marketing has been looking for a long time,
Yeah.
is just good, great, unbelievably hardworking people
Yeah.
getting a shot at making a difference in a living in a business that needs integrity, professionalism, and credibility. And I think you guys are doing that. And I just wanted to say that out loud.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. I think over the past year, what's really been amazing is getting so many messages from, 6 and 7 figure earners from other companies, CEOs from other companies that are truly cheering us on
Yeah,
and really just proud of what we've done and proud of what we're doing and proud of how we're doing it. And that means a lot because to me, integrity is everything, and
yeah.
it's like, say what you mean and mean what you say, right? And do what you say you're going to do. And, you know, lead by example. I mean, that's always been the most important thing for me is leading by example. Do what you want your people to do, you know?
I love you. And so I want to know what you're doing over there as far as, obviously you guys pioneered the ATM concept.
Yeah.
And I see a lot going on out there where you're doing a lot more of that. You've actually added a wrinkle to it. And if it's not too proprietary, talk from 10,000 feet if you need to. But you guys are having incredible success in the network marketing space, not using smoke and mirrors, just using fundamentals of communication to raise the bar, expose people to product, try the product, teach people to go do the same thing, and everybody does okay. Is that kind of what the whole deal is?
Yeah, Tom, I think that having the dual-sided compensation plan that we have has been the missing link in network marketing. And I can say that because my previous company, we had this dual-sided comp plan. And when, let's just look at network marketing as a whole. I mean, most people that get started in this industry, I mean, I sucked at recruiting when I first started. I think most people suck at recruiting when they get started, and they either have to go through the numbers to get good at it and learn how to deal with rejection and no's and people ghosting you and all these things, and OPO, other people's opinions, all that stuff. And you got to get, some really thick skin to be a really good recruiter. And even in typical network marketing, for the first 20 years I built this business, like I was rewarded very well financially for being a really good recruiter, but I think that the majority of people authentically and organically are better at talking about products they love. When somebody loses 20, 30 pounds, or, they're sleeping through the night and they haven't slept in a decade and they have more energy and the brain fog is gone and their hormones are in check and they don't have any aches and pains anymore. And they feel better than they've felt in years. People want to tell people about that. If somebody's lost 50 pounds, I have a gal that's lost 169 pounds in the past year with our product.
How much did she weigh?
Well, at the height, I think close to 500.
Okay.
So, I mean,
God, that's a pile of weight.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's given her her life back, Tom. You think she's not going to scream from the mountaintops when this summer was the first time she's ever been able to ride a roller coaster with her kids? I mean, she has like
I would not be doing a dang thing except living my life so hard because Alec, I love him, Dr. Rewire. At
Dr.
the end,
Wire. It's my
yeah.
buddy.
At the end of the day, I would be screaming, finally, I can run, jump, dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to
That's
my
awesome.
point, I think that, people are authentically and organically able to talk about products they love versus like a brand new person in network marketing going, hey, like, I'm trying to recruit you, come into my business, come into my multi-level, come into my network marketing company, let's go do this together, and meanwhile they haven't made a dime, and they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe in the industry, they don't believe in maybe they don't even believe in the company yet. They're brand new, maybe they haven't even tried the products yet, and they're supposed to go out and recruit everybody they know, but it's like they don't have any belief yet. So you can sell products without having belief in yourself and the industry and the company and all the things. So to allow people to get to be recognized and rewarded and paid really well for selling products and building a customer base is incredible. If somebody can make a part-time or full-time income without recruiting a single soul, I mean, we got people making 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a month that without building a team, just off their customer base. And I think that has been the secret sauce, along, of course, with the ATM system. That's been amazing. But I think the pendulum is also coming back a little bit, to where people are wanting, I think it was Rob Sperry that was talking about how we're like in this trust recession right now because of AI, and people don't know what to believe. They don't know if you're real. They don't know if you're fake. They don't know if it's a real message or a fake message. So I think that the pendulum's coming back a little bit to build more solid face-to-face and belly-to-belly
No doubt.
relationships again, which is great, but I also think the high tech, high touch is where the magic is.
So explain that a little bit.
Well, I mean, even though I've been building pretty much like 100% online for the last decade, and our team did over 450 million in sales in the last decade with our previous company, and over 85% of that volume was customer volume, which is pretty magical,
Correct.
And so, but when it comes to building a network marketing business, we just taught people how to bring their offline skills online.
Right.
You're still prospecting, you're still inviting, you're really not having to do the presentations like we used to, because we just don't have to do that anymore, because you can point to a tool, you can point to a video, and part of the ATM process is add them to a group, tag them on a presentation video, and then put them in a three-way chat, use that third-party validation in Messenger, and get yourself out of the way and listen and learn, So you're still, you're still prospecting, you're still inviting, you're still using the presentation with the ATM system, and then you're still, helping someone launch their business, and then recruiting and training and team building and stuff like that. But a lot of it, if you can systematize a lot of that, like where someone, all they have to do is tag somebody on a training video, it just makes more sense. I know I'm not duplicatable after 30 years of doing this, but I know that our systems are.
That's the most important part.
Mhm.
And so so let's go back to the 150-pound lady. She's down, she weighs 500.
Right.
She loses 5 pounds. Nobody notices, 10, 20, 30. That's the beginning of people's network marketing career.
Yeah.
But she's believing in the product because she's seeing the scale, but nobody can see that in her. How do you take that person and say, listen, you keep taking the product, the weight loss is going to come. You keep talking to people, the income's going to come. Do you plug them into the system to get them there from here? Or how do you do that, Michelle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is someone she lives here in Colorado. Shout out to Crystal Ketz. She's amazing. We've been friends for over 15 years. I mean, they've been in some other companies with me. But I've known her for 15 plus years, and she's always been trying to lose weight. But about, little over a year ago, she was at the highest weight that she'd ever been at. And she was becoming more and more depressed, sitting on the couch, and, at night she didn't have the energy to play with her kids. I think her and her husband combined have 8 kids. And, so they're busy. They got hockey, they've got all these things. But for her to, over the last year, to lose, 20, and then 50, and then 75, and then 100, and then 150. I mean, it has been so incredible to watch, but what has been even better is like I said, it's given her life back. I mean, she was just like, oh my God, I have not been able to ride roller coasters with my kids ever in their life until this summer. She can fit on the plane on one seat now.
Yeah.
I mean, man, like when you can change someone's life like that, and
Yeah.
we've been working on a lot of the mindset and the inner work too, because in order to keep the weight off, I mean, I don't want people to lose it and find it and lose it and find it and lose it and find it. So it's like, okay, we got to change our paradigm at the same time. So I think helping people, really create better healthy habits and a better mindset and work through maybe some of the stuff that, you know, was the inner stuff that part of the reason why she put on all that weight to begin with, being able to work through some of that stuff with her, so it's just when you have solid friendships and relationships like that, there's still relationships. I think we've become a little transactional in the affiliate world
There
and
we go. Good.
and in the network marketing world. I think we've become a little bit too transactional because influencers can be like, oh, here's my link, buy my product. But there's no relationship there. I've had a relationship with this woman for 15 years, her and her husband, and when you can build solid relationships and help people build a business and help people bring in a stream of income and help people, I mean, the bottom line, when you look good you feel good, and when you
No
feel
doubt.
good you do good. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so I love helping people lose weight and feel good and have more energy. If anyone's ever seen me speak anywhere, I always say energy is everything and everything is energy. Because when you have higher vibration and higher frequency and better energy, more people are going to be attracted to who you are and what you do. And so I want to help people have more energy and look good and feel good and do good.
That's cool. Okay, so my wife just said hi. So
Hi,
yeah,
Denise.
let's hope she doesn't watch the beginning of the show. But I love you, honey. But and Dr. Rewire, I mean, I don't know if
I
you
love
guys
you.
know who he is, but
Yeah.
if you're not, I mean, he's amazing. He's coming to town, I think, this month. I'm having dinner with him.
Oh,
And
well, I better be invited because
yeah, that's a good
we did
point.
a Zoom and we had such a good conversation. And I mean, that's like a whole nother like session here.
Did
Um,
you read that Hal Elrod book? Have you read
oh,
that?
Miracle Morning. I've
Yeah.
been referring that to people for 100 years. I love him.
We got to get him on. I
Yeah,
read
me
that
too.
just recently again,
Oh,
and just these guys that we know
yeah,
that are so. I know that you're a big Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor
of course.
crazy woman,
I
and and I'm getting so old I couldn't remember which one of them was actually your mentor, so I mentioned
Bob.
them both.
Yeah,
Huh?
Bob Proctor was.
Okay, Proctor. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm getting old. But at the end of the day, it's just such a beautiful business to
It
be
is.
able to have these people
Yeah.
pour into you so you can go pour it into your team and most importantly, your children, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My kids still talk about Bob, I mean, and there's probably not a day that goes by that I don't say Bob's name or that I don't share something with someone that I learned from Bob. And I mean, what a blessing. I mean, I knew the whole time he was a dear friend of mine and my mentor before he passed. I knew that I was very, very lucky and very blessed to be working with him directly like I was, and to have the friendship and the relationship that we had. But man, now that he's gone, it's like I'm seeing the ripple effect. And I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
How do you feel when you see all these posers act like they were the ones that he don't it just makes me nuts. There's a couple of guys out there that I knew really well. They're dead now because everybody my age is dead now. But it's so awesome listening to, oh, he and I were so close. And I just could feel them rolling over in their grave going, no, we didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
You're rewriting history to make yourself the hero.
Yeah. We
If you
met.
guys want to find Michelle Barnes, go to michellebarnes.com. She's got a free download in there for you. She is a rock star, the Money Mindset Reset book, and go get it. Go to Michelle Barnes, find her on Instagram, find her on Facebook. But this woman is a beast. I love her with all of my heart. We don't see you enough. And I thank you for being you. It's so completely beautiful having you around. I want to talk about Rob Sperry, Eric Worre,
Okay.
all those regulars that are true generic leaders. Mark J, you
Yep.
know them all. I know them all.
Mhm.
I don't know where I would be if I
Okay.
listened to my company tell me that I did not need to go outside of their supposed great wisdom to learn this business. And you're on every stage. You've known all these people for years.
Mhm.
And I just want your spin on that because all of you, you need to get out of that cocoon because
Yeah.
you only know what you think it's insanity.
Oh gosh.
Reach out and go learn something, right?
Yes. I love when our people can learn from other leaders and other people in our space because they hear it from us all the time. We always say a prophet's never welcome in their own hometown. So it's nice for them to hear it from someone else because then they're like, "Oh gosh, Michelle said that."
That,
But I mean, we have some really great people in this profession. And, even, speaking on a lot of these stages and, meeting Dr. Rewire, for example. I mean, we've had a couple incredible conversations. And again, it's like a lot of times these people that are have something that they're so good at, they see our blind spots that we don't see. And
yeah.
I think that's what coaches and mentors and working with people who have the results you want in life, is that's why it's so important because a lot of time we don't know what we don't know. And I think sometimes, when you're just in your little cocoon with your company and your business, we try to bring in, different speakers. We've brought in, Rob Sperry, and we've brought in, Michelle Cunningham. We brought in Coach
I love
Fryer.
her.
We brought all those people into our private community to train our people because it's so good for them to hear from other people besides just us, you
Yeah.
know?
So I see GJ Barton. I mean, talk
Oh,
about it. There's a trooper, man. That
yeah.
guy has, there's another guy that just gets up every day and makes it bigger and better and not afraid to reinvent himself. And it's really, really beautiful. I see Michael Weininger. He's a character and a half. And just so many people love you.
No.
And it's just because you never hit them with an agenda. You hit them with love.
Mhm.
It's attraction, just like AA, attraction, not promotion. You just say, I don't have to. If you want what I've got, you got to do what I do.
Yeah.
And if you want to partner with me, you find me and we talk. But every one of us can do that. Every one of you can do that.
Yeah.
I loved what she said about her friend of a very, very long time. And it took that friend of hers a very long time and the right product for her to lose that 150 pounds. But prior to that, Michelle never sold her out. She was in the game with her every inch of the way. And I love that about you. And I know that that's the way you guys go into you and Denise and Taylor, Thompson
Something.
and Margie and everybody going to Africa. I lost the names of all the women that went. They went to Africa and rode around on goats and gave people loans. It was, I don't know that they rode a goat, but they had fun.
Right, it goes, but I mean, we definitely, experienced some amazing things. You really, when you go work to like a place like Tanzania and you work with these women in the villages who are starting little micro businesses in their community and, to see their lives and to see really how blessed we are. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I get probably the most like pissed off about, honestly, Tom, is like this industry, is it perfect? No. And in the last probably 5, 10 years, I mean, you know, there's probably been there's been a lot of just yuck in our industry and our profession, and it sucks because I love this profession so much.
I
And
think there's been a lot of yuck in the world. Good God,
yeah,
there is a lot of yuck in the world. There's no difference
for sure.
between this. You just got to pick your yuck.
Yeah, you do. And but that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, the world is kind of crazy. Our country's kind of crazy. Our industry's been kind of crazy. So be the light, and that's what I really try to, I always say friends first, just love people like you say, Tom. I forget what your shirt says, but it's awesome. But I mean, I think it really comes down to it's up to us to raise the bar and raise the standard. And you got to raise your own standards before you'll ever be able to raise the standards of this profession. So people can, bitch and moan, they can complain about network marketing and they can say, all the bad things and stuff like that. But really, what are you doing to raise your standards to make this profession better,
Yeah. Here's the shirt you were alluding to, and we're going to
There
send
it
you
is.
one.
I
Love like crazy, then love more. And I see Hagen Mack on here, and they've been involved with LifeVantage forever, and they are really, really good people. And they live about an hour from me. But
Oh, no way.
yeah,
So
and
they're my
Dave,
neighbors too.
yeah. So Dave Mack
Why are
is,
you hiding all these people from me?
I know it because you're too shy. So Dave Mack is ill. And so I drove down to their house and we went out to a restaurant and had the most gluten filled, calorie filled. I wanted to go someplace healthy because I'm getting so old. I'm going to die anytime. I can't afford to eat any of that. So I'm sitting there, and we just had the biggest old pizza and sat out there and laughed about life. And it's so beautiful to have friends in other companies where
Mhm.
there's no community, where there's no competition, just community.
Yeah.
And that's how you show up for me, and the friends you've got. Sandy Greenberg sent me a note. Jeff Weisberg sent me a note.
Uh,
Obviously, Cam, you are loved across the board. And I just want to thank you for coming on. And Michelle, we'll get you some, we're going to go meet Dr. Rewire for a bite to eat. And I'll bring you some stuff.
okay. Well, it'll be so fun. And I'm so excited. And that's always a pleasure to be on your show. I love it. And I love you and Denise so much. And I mean, it's a little ridiculous. We don't hang out more since you're an hour away, but
Yeah.
you know,
Go find her. She's a far better networker and person than I am. Just go find her, please. She needs the business. She's got two very expensive young kids to put through college. So
that's true.
whatever you do, go find her. Let's just keep winning. Stephen, I love you. And yeah, that's how this goes. It's just a team and we win. Bang, bang. I love you. We'll see you later, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.